Hello guys, today I want to show you a very simple geometric proof of these two limits up here. So usually you use these two limits as facts that don't really need too much thinking. You don't really need to think through why this is true. You usually just refer to, a table or something, or you just maybe know that this is true and that's it. But you may not know why that is the case, so I'm going to give you geometric proof for these two limits. So let's begin first by making a drawing of the unit circle. Now, I'm not going to make the entire circumference, but I'm only going to use a sector. So say we have something like this, okay? I'm going to say that this is a very small portion of the unit circle. And let's say this angle is theta. And let's say that we have a triangle which has one of the sides is this one. And this would be a right triangle, of course. So now, what do I want to do? What do I want to do with this? So first of all, we know that in this triangle, the radius would be the hypotenuse, which means that the hypotenuse would be equal to 1. Now, there is a question that we must ask so that we can prove these two limits. The first question is, what is the ratio between the length of this sector and the height of the triangle? So the height is going to be this one. It's going to be this over here. This is going to be the height. And the sector is going to be this one in here, okay? This is what I mean by the length of the sector. I'm sorry, the length is going to be this one. Now we know that in radians, I'm going to write it over here. In radians, we know that the length is equal to the radius times theta. But the radius is equal to 1. So this is just theta. Now we want to find the ratio of height to it would be length. Yep, length. Okay. Now this, well, if we want to start assigning some numbers to these two variables, well, we can start first by finding the height. Now, what is the height of this triangle? We know that if we say sine theta is equal to h over the hypotenuse, we know that the hypotenuse would be the radius of the circle, so that is just going to be h, okay? Because the hypotenuse is 1. The radius of the circle is 1. Now, we know that if sine theta is equal to h, that means that the height of this triangle, it would be equal to sine theta. So we can write over here, and I'm going to actually do this over here. We can, this continues down here. So we know that the height, it would be sine theta. And the length, it would be theta, okay? Now, I want to ask you what happens what happens with L, the length of the sector, and the height of the triangle. What happens with those two as theta becomes smaller? So try to visualize that. I think it is simple to see that as theta becomes smaller, L will approach. I'm going to write it. So as theta becomes smaller, so it approaches 0, we know that the length of the circle will be almost the height, okay? Because this curve, it will become a straight line, basically, yeah? Because you have a very small angle, and if you zoom out, L, it will be almost on top of H. And that means that they're almost the same, the same line or the same segment. Now, why is this important? Well, if you have two things that are equal, you need to start thinking like that. If L is very small, is very close to H, that means that the ratio between H and L would be equal to 1, or approximately 1, okay? It would be approximately 1. And we know that, well, the height is sine theta, okay? We define that in here. And we know that the length is theta. So that means that, well, if these two guys, if sine theta is almost the same as theta, well, then we know that this is almost as same that we have 1 over 1, okay? And we know that it's just simply going to be 1. And that is why this limit is equal to 1. You have sine theta is the height of the triangle, and you also have theta. Theta is equal to the length of the sector of the circle. And if theta, the limit as theta goes to 0, if theta becomes very small, then L will be almost equal to H. And if you divide two things that are almost equal, well, you're going to get something that is almost equal to 1. And since we're taking the limit, we can stop saying almost, and we can say that it will be equal to 1. Okay, that is the reasoning behind this limit. Now, what happens with this second limit that we have in here? Well, this limit is almost the same reasoning that we used before with this limit involving sine. So we know that if theta becomes very small, then h, I'm gonna write the entire thing again. So if theta approaches 0, then we know that h will approach L, okay? Or L will approach H, okay? However you want to see it. It's basically the same thing. But I think it would make more sense to actually say L approaches H. I think you would see L moving more than H, or, you know, more dynamic. H, I think it would be, H would be static and L would be moving. So we can say that L approaches H. And now we know that, so here's when now we need to start reasoning again. If L becomes almost the same as H, that means that this line that is, well, this curve that is shown by L will be very close to this line, this straight line shown by H. And that means that if these two guys, they are basically on top of each other, this gap over here, this gap that you can see that we have over here, this gap, let me write it like this. Now this gap, it will approach almost 0. It will be non-existent, basically, okay? What picture do you need to have in your mind? Well, imagine you have this curve, and that curve is basically on top of H. And if it is on top of H, that means that this space between the height of the triangle and the length, or well, the circumference of the portion of the unit circle, then that gap, it would be almost 0, okay? And that means that, let me take away this colon, I don't know why I wrote it. That means that if this gap is non-existent, then the width of the triangle, let me write it like this, okay, yep, the width of the triangle, which would be from the origin to this endpoint over here, that length, it would be equal to the radius of the circle, okay, r equals 1. And why is that? Well, we know that initially the width of the circle, of the width of the triangle, I'm sorry, it was given by cosine theta, right? Because we know that cosine theta, it would be equal to the adjacent side. So let's just say this would be x, the adjacent side. So you have x over 1, the hypotenuse, so it is x. Now x would be equal, x would be less than 1 because x plus the gap would be equal to 1, okay? But if we have no gap, that means that x would be very close to 1. So x would be almost 1 because we have no longer gap. And we no longer have a gap. And that means that, well, this length, it would basically, this line that you have in here, it would basically, L and H, they would be the same line, and the length between the origin and the point where H and L converge, it would be 1, okay? Because now you no longer have a gap to account for, okay? I hope you're understanding or seeing the picture that I'm seeing. You no longer have a gap to account for if H and L are the same. And that means that this width of the triangle, it would be equal to 1. That is basically the only way in which you can have a triangle with the hypotenuse being equal to the side of one of the sides of the triangle, okay? Now we know that if this side of the triangle is equal to cosine theta, that means that cosine theta is equal to 1. And now I think you can bring this entire thing to the limit. So if you have cosine theta is equal to 1, and you want to write cosine theta minus 1, well, what do you get? Well, we know cosine theta will be 1 as theta becomes smaller, okay? Because that would mean that H approaches L or vice versa. So we know that this equation would be equal to 0, okay? You're basically stop doing 1 minus 1, and that's 0. And now, if we do this, so if we have this subtraction, and we want to say that we have theta as a denominator, as long as theta is not equal to 0, as long as it is any number that is non-zero, then we can say that this division will be equal to 0, okay? Because you would basically have 0 over theta, and theta would be a very small number, but it would not be 0, okay? So that division, it would be defined, and it would be equal to 0, okay? And that is why this limit is equal to 0. The limit, it allows us to say that theta will not be 0, so that division will not be undefined. And since we know cosine theta is equal to 1, because you no longer have a gap, so the radius of the circle, or the radius of this portion of the circle, would be equal to the width of the triangle, then we know that we would be subtracting 1, we would be doing 1 minus 1, and that would be 0, and 0 over anything would be equal to 0, as long as that anything is not 0, okay? So I hope everything has been clear. I hope that you have learned something today. These proofs, they're very cool because you need to use geometric intuition and you really need to visualize what happens with this gap, and of course, as theta becomes smaller, what happens with h and l, okay? You really need to visualize that in order to, to understand all of this. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this mini lecture and see you in the following video.